All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my beautiful picture here, where we are actually going to be learning how to order positive and negative integers in rational numbers. So what does it mean to order integers in rational numbers? Well, remember, integers are whole numbers. So we've got one here, one here, one here, and one here. And then rational numbers include decimals and fractions, both positive and negative. So we may want to recognize, here's a 0, but 8 and 5 and 2.5, or 2 and 5/10, are positive. Negative 4 and negative 2 and a half are negative. So how do we order them? Well, that would be something like least to greatest or greatest to least. When we order something, we want to put them in specific orders. And these are the two ways we put things in order in math. So a lot of you are thinking, well, 0 is the smallest. Wrong. So why do I have this picture? One, because it was really fun to try and play on this app, explain everything. It's awesome. But I drew a submarine, and then, I have to put it in water, and then I put a little sandy beach, and I thought, you need some palm trees and put the sun in. I could have done a lot more, but I only have so much time. Because here's what I think about. This line right here. This line where the water meets the shore. We think of this as 0. This is sea level, right? And sea level would represent 0. And everything below 0 or below sea level would represent negative integers. And everything above 0 or above that sea level line would be positive integers. And if that's the case, then obviously negative numbers are less than 0. They're under 0. They're below 0. They have decreased from 0. I've used all kinds of words here. The bottom line is negative numbers have less value. They're less than 0. And that can also be represented by I'm moving the leaves here. That can also be represented by a number line such as this. So if this is 0, this would be everything below sea level or negative. And the right would be everything greater than 0 or above the ground or positive. So the real way to order from least to greatest would be moving from left to right, because as I move to the right, my numbers will increase or get bigger, and as I move to the left, my numbers will decrease. So greatest to least would be right to left, least to greatest would be left to right. So these might be some helpful reminders. And so as I plot my points, what you'll notice is negative 4 is the one that's farthest to the left. So I might have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3 here would be negative 4. So that would come first if I'm going least to greatest, or last if I'm going greatest to least. And then my next point would be the negative 2.5, which of course would be, here's 1, here's 2. It would be halfway, because the 2 tells me to split it halfway, and then I would go one spot there. So here would be negative 2.5. Of course, I have 0, right? And then I would have my 2.5, which of course is the same as 2.5. So 2.5 is 1, 2.5 right there. So this is just 2.5. And then I'd have 3, 4, 5. And then I'd have 6, 7, 8. So what we learn are a couple principles. Principle that the greater the value, the greater the digit, so the numeral 4, we think if they were all positive, 8 is the biggest, and then it should be 4. And 2 should be less than 4. The problem is it's actually greater because this negative sign right here, the negative, the greater the number, the less value it has if it's negative. And remember, that's only back over this way. And obviously in positives, it's just the good old-fashioned order we've done since, first grade. Anything bigger than 0 is positive, and all of that will be greater as you continue to the right. But here, as you continue to the left, as you get smaller, you see the digits increase. You see the numbers increase as they go this way. So that negative sign makes it less value. And so let's come back to our submarine. I love my little submarine. Here we are at sea level, right? He dives down into the water. Now let me ask you, as he did that, as he dove down, farther away from zero, think about the depth that you would say. He may have gone from 10 feet in depth or maybe 10 meters in depth, right? But he went down and now he might be at like 100 meters. And you're thinking, well, 100's way bigger than 10. You know, well, 100 would be greater than 10 if it was positive, but we're going farther down. We're going farther away from the surface. So because this is all below zero, getting more and more negative, farther and farther down, we're getting farther and farther away from the nice warmth height that we want to be at. So this would be less than this because it's farther from the surface or zero. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, ask your teacher. Mr. Inyart's always here for you. Feel free to like, subscribe, and send me any messages or suggestions you may have. Have a good day.